Hi there, this is a tutorial to show you how to do our note-taking methodology on the TBIs, our interactive whiteboards. For this, I'm going to share my screen. I will go into our Nextcloud space where we work online, and I will go into, for instance, a coaching class. I'm going to take any coaching class, or in Kulumi, let's take Kulumi, and I'll take a coaching student. I will take, for instance, Claire, who is a student who's been with us for a few weeks, and her notebook file is this one. I will use the notebook file to exemplify our methodology because this file exists in the notebooks in the school, which will allow you to use them. Okay. So I'm going to open the methodology. Okie dokie. So let's have a look. Note-taking methodology, here it is. It's on each of our pages, whether we be in Lani or in Kulumia. You'll see the note-taking methodology right at the bottom here. Okay, so let's open that. Now then, the first thing to say is to find out whether your students are left-handed or right-handed. I start with the left-handed sheet because I'll go through it quite quickly. Not many students are left-handed. If they're left-handed, then note-taking during the lesson takes place on the right side, and all of the rewriting of their notes in neat will take place on the left side. But as most of our students are right-handed, I will go straight onto this sheet. And I will say to them that I ask them to write up their notes on the left side. Why? Because they are right-handed, and so their bodies will automatically hold the book in the right side to leaf through the book. And when they're leafing through their workbook that they have for their Jack and Jill lessons, this side will be the more important side. And this is the side that we want them to look at with their beautiful notes all written up in neat. And we will, of course, teach them in neat, in rough, to write up your notes. Now let's imagine that their lesson was on a Thursday. They will have written their notes in any old color, however they like, during the lesson. And on the opposite side, on the right, we ask them to divide up their page into 4 sections: tenses and verbs in blue, grammar in green. That's helpful. There's a alliteration to help you remember. Grammar in green, vocabulary in violet or purple. And when we ask them to write vocabulary in purple, we do ask them to write the English word in purple and the French translation in a light pencil. I don't want the French to jump out at them. I would like the English to jump out at them, and the French just to be there as a reminder in case they've forgotten. And then finally, this square here is culture and shared with pronunciation. Culture we always write in brown because that is what the monument signs are in England. They're always in brown signposts. If we're talking to them about, I don't know, that the Queen has been the longest on the throne for all monarchs, or that English pubs, they have last orders and everybody rushes to the bar. I mean, anything that you might be telling them about culture in England or in America or in Australia or anywhere else, in any other English-speaking country, then that would go in there. They would note it down for themselves. And this would also be shared with pronunciation, and that there should be stuff every single week, because we're going to be pulling up all of their pronunciation that's not quite right, getting it on the board. And we use pink because our course book, English file, uses pink for pronunciation and phonetics. So they will be writing the word in English, in normal letters, and then the pronunciation in the pink next door. So how do we do our notes? We are going to write up everything during the lesson. And this is on the Thursday, let's say. On the Friday, the square that's the most important is the vocabulary. And we're going to write that up on the Friday by going through our notes and reading everything. And if there's anything that are just simply new words, then I'm going to underline it in the purple pen and write it up in neat, in purple, with light pencil translation. On the Saturday, I am going to fill out everything for tenses and verbs. I'm going to read through my notes again. Anything that was to do with tenses, the present continuous, the past simple, anything that is verbs, is the you form, the third person singular, the whatever. They will write it up here in blue. On the, I can't see because of my picture, I'll get that out of the way. On the Sunday, I am going to ask them to go through the whole lot again and underline in green for grammar, anything that is to do with grammar, and write it all up. And then finally, on the last day, they're going to write up their culture and pronunciation. They should underline everything in their notes. It should all be written up in one of the 4 squares. Anything that's left that either they don't understand or they can't read or they're not quite sure where it should go, they're going to circle in red. And at their next lesson, the first things that they will have in their notes are the 3 or 4 things in red that they didn't understand and that they're going to ask you to clarify. You are going to check their notebook every week and look and say, show me, have you written up all of your notes? Very good. Yeah, you wrote it all up. Very good. It's all underlined. There's a bit of circling there. Very good. And make sure we're there to give them the discipline that they don't have themselves. Otherwise, they'd be learning from an online course by themselves. There are millions of them and they're free. You will regularly test them on the vocabulary that's written here. They give me your book and let's see if you remember your vocabulary. Anki is explained in another tutorial, but all of their brand new vocabulary will be entered into an app on their telephones to help them remember. Don't forget in their notebook that you will be giving them the tense chart to stick at the front of their books and their phonetic sheet to stick at the back, and that you give out at the beginning of their course. Enjoy.